For the first time ever, my girlfriend actually spoke to me not because she missed me, but because she was heading off on a month-long business trip with her boy toy and figured I deserved a heads up, and this time, I didn't even have the strength to argue. I just made breakfast and quietly watched her get ready to leave. She glanced at me like I was some helpless little kitten. "Benja, you're being so good today," she said with a smile. "How about this when I come back? I'll say yes to your proposal, okay?" But what she didn't realize was that people who are truly determined to leave, they don't scream and fight. A month later, she came home from her trip and found the apartment completely empty. That's when she finally panicked. "You don't have to make breakfast for me today. I'm in a rush." While I was cooking, Luciana suddenly walked up beside me and gently rested her head on my shoulder. That familiar, soft scent of her hair drifted into my nose. I frowned a little, but the feelings that used to stir inside me just weren't there anymore. Funny thing is, I should have been thrilled. It was the first time she'd ever taken the initiative to end one of our silent standoffs. But before I could say a word, she spoke, her voice calm, not asking, just informing. "I'm going on a business trip later. I won't be back for a month." She paused. Her eyes flickered, like she wanted to say something more. I kept my focus on the bacon sizzling in the pan, wondering if I should slice it in half. Got it," I said. She looked a little surprised by how casually I responded. After a beat, she added, "Bruno's coming with me." I cut the bacon straight down the middle. The blade thunked against the cutting board, and somehow, the anxiety in my chest dropped right along with it. What a joke. I actually wanted to slap myself. I still had hope. "Makes sense," I said. "He's your assistant. He should go." When did it all begin anyway? Out of all our many silent wars, 9 out of 10 were because of Bruno, the fresh college grade. Full of energy, always saying just the right things to make Luciana laugh until she lost all sense of boundaries. In all honesty, the guy was garbage at his job, but Luciana always said he was young, ambitious, cheerful, and generous. She insisted he had potential, took extra care of him, way too much care. She crossed lines, and it drove me insane with jealousy. This particular Cold War started when I'd been working late and suddenly felt this intense, crushing pain. I broke out in cold sweat and couldn't even sit up straight. I collapsed on the floor. And just at that moment, Luciana walked right past me. Didn't even look. She just breezed by to take Bruno out to some trendy restaurant she'd bookmarked online. Maybe that's when something inside me broke. When my heart stopped reacting like it used to. My emotions had gone steady, just like now. Her little moment of tenderness this morning, it wasn't real. Just a self-soothing update for her own conscience. And I felt nothing. Luciana seemed caught off guard when I didn't blow up after she mentioned Bruno. In the past, just hearing his name was enough to send me spiraling, but this time, nothing. She leaned up on her toes and kissed my cheek lightly, then smiled and said, "Benja, don't worry. After this trip, Bruno should be able to handle things on his own. I'll make sure he gets more independent from now on. That way, I'll have more time for you." I hadn't even planned on making breakfast for her today, just one serving in one pan. Fewer dishes that way. Still, she sat across from me and watched me eat. Afterward, she even offered to do the dishes. She'd never touched them before, and I always let her off easy. "Dish soap's harsh on the hands." "It's okay. Girls should take care of themselves," I used to say, but today, I didn't say anything. Just watched her tie on the apron. She turned and smiled. "What?" "Thinking the kitchen's not such a bad place. We could do something in here too, just wait till I get back from the trip." She smiled so brightly, like we'd never fought a day in our lives. Like she hadn't ghosted me emotionally for weeks on end. Her suggestive words sounded like flirty whispers between lovers, but all I could think was, what the hell does that even mean? Forget it. It didn't matter anymore. I knew exactly what this was. Just her guilty conscience trying to do damage control before she left, before she could even touch a dish. The doorbell rang. Luciana immediately walked out of the kitchen to answer it, her voice lighting up as soon as the door opened. "Bruno, why are you here so early?" I sneered to myself. The second that bell rang, she practically sprinted to the door, passing right by me. Wasn't she just waiting for him to show up? Bruno stood in the entryway, looking a little awkward. "Luciana, I came to take you out for breakfast. Airport food's overpriced and terrible. There's a great place on the way." He paused, eyes landing on her apron, then drifted to me, leaning at the dining table. "Oh, hey Benjamin. Bro, you're here too. Was Luciana doing the dishes? He sounded nervous, like he was tiptoeing across thin ice. Luciana laughed. It's okay. Benja will wash them. Can't have you doing it. She untied the apron, set it down on the shoe cabinet, and reached for her suitcase. Bruno looked confused. Did you make breakfast for Luciana? He asked. Maybe I came too early. His face said everything. He was disappointed. Luciana quickly replied, No, that was for him. I haven't eaten yet. I was waiting for you. Huh? Bruno's eyes lit up. Then shyly, he added, But that was Benjamin's plate. Luciana changed her shoes and placed her suitcase in front of him. Then finally, she turned to me. I'm heading out. You've been such a good boy today, Benja. When I get back, let's go register our marriage, okay? She blew me a kiss and then closed the door behind her. I pulled out a cigarette, lit it, and walked back into the kitchen to wash the dishes. Luciana and I had been together for 10 years, from college to now, and in that time, I'd proposed more times than I could count. I always planned every detail carefully, every setting, every word from the heart. She always said no or not ready, or ignored it completely. Sometimes she outright rejected me, and now, just to avoid one more argument about Bruno, she tossed out a hollow promise of marriage to shut me up. I shook my head, murmuring to myself, not okay. Not even close to okay. A bitter smile pulled at my lips. I wouldn't propose to her again, and she'd probably be relieved. No more fights either. After cleaning the kitchen, I sat on the couch and stared at the message on my phone, thoughts spinning. Have you decided on switching jobs yet? On one hand, there was the plane ticket I'd booked 2 weeks ago. On the other, a message from a major company's HR department. Countless memories flashed through my mind, then froze on the image of Luciana and Bruno together. Should I cancel the flight? Should I quit? In the end, I replied to the message, packed my things, and walked out of the apartment I had shared with Luciana for 7 years. I didn't look back. I stayed in the capital for Luciana. She and I came from completely different worlds. She was a rich heiress, and I was just an ordinary guy trying to make it in the city. To stand beside her, I worked day and night, grinding through relentless overtime to the point I nearly collapsed at my desk. I remember that moment clearly. I couldn't even hold myself upright in the chair. I just crumpled to the floor. Everyone in the office rushed over, even colleagues from the rival team I never got along with. No one stood by doing nothing. Some were shouting to give space. Someone called 120. Others laid me flat and checked if I was conscious. Only Luciana. She walked briskly past me, keys in hand, beaming with joy. After being rescued and stabilized in the hospital, the first person I saw was the lead of the rival team. Then some of my teammates running around trying to handle the bills and talk to doctors. When I finally got my phone back, the first thing I wanted to do was text Luciana, but the first thing I saw was a social media post from Bruno, a full 9 photo collage. Him in the passenger seat tossing up a heart sign. Luciana in the driver's seat, smiling from ear to ear. Every shot looked like a couple's selfie. The caption, late night cravings after work. Boss took me to a trendy hotspot. Foodie life is amazing. My boss is the best in the world. Lying there in that hospital bed, I felt like I'd been dunked in ice water. My whole body trembled. I texted Luciana, asking where she was. She didn't reply until 11 p.m. She said she was entertaining clients at dinner earlier, and now she was at KTV. Told me not to nag her. Said I should stop checking up on her for no reason. That I was wasting her precious time with my paranoia. Said if a client saw my messages, it'd be embarrassing. I was discharged a week later. That night, we had a huge fight. Well, more like I did most of the talking, venting everything I'd been bottling up. Turned out she didn't even know I'd been hospitalized for a whole week, and in the end, she just said one sentence, "You still have the energy to argue with me, so clearly you're fine." That moment was when I realized no amount of words would change anything anymore. Our 10 years together meant absolutely nothing to her. From that day on, we entered another Cold War. She completely ignored me, like I didn't exist, like we were strangers. She stopped eating the breakfast I made, stopped sleeping in the same room, stopped talking to me at all. It was her usual tactic. 10 years of love turned into nothing more than 2 people sharing space. No, not even that. We weren't partners. We weren't even acquaintances anymore. The business trip with Bruno wasn't even the final straw. Truth is, our relationship ended the moment she said, "You're still alive, aren't you?" 10 years of love over. Just like that, I packed my bags and went to the office to formally resign. Alone, but I didn't expect to run into Luciana and Bruno, the two people who were supposed to be at the airport by then. By the printer, Bruno was clinging to Luciana's arm, acting all shy and playful. "Sorry, Luciana," he said. "It's all my fault. I was so excited about our breakfast plans, I barely slept and totally forgot to print the contract. Delayed you again." Luciana let him cling to her left arm, and with her right, she gently pinched his cheek. Her tone was soft. "It's fine. It's a small thing. Am I the kind of cold, heartless boss who'd make a fuss over that?" As she spoke, her eyes drifted toward the doorway where I stood. Her smile froze for just a moment. Then she glanced at her watch, frowned, and said sharply, "Benjamin, you're just getting here. It's already an hour past clock in. According to company policy, being over an hour late is considered skipping work. You're too casual with your responsibilities. No wonder the other employees talk about you like they do." Even though I had already given up on our relationship, hearing her talk to me like that still lit a fire in my chest. Luciana was always known at work for being strict and decisive. She treated everyone harshly, but with me, it was worse. I once suggested we go public with our relationship. She refused. Said office romance didn't look good. Said as the boss, she had to set an example. So to our coworkers, her strictness toward me just looked like pure dislike. Naturally, some tried to curry favor with her by making things harder for me. When I told Luciana about it, she just scoffed. Instead of supporting me, she told me to self-reflect. Said maybe I wasn't nice enough to my coworkers. Maybe I just didn't have the skills or results to win people over. In her eyes, all my complaints were just excuses. Later, she even sent a message in the company group chat asking everyone to maintain a positive and professional working environment. That didn't help at all. In fact, it made the way people looked at me even worse. At the time, I was touched. I thought she was standing up for me. That the reason she was so hard on me was because I was special. Looking back now, wasn't that just emotional manipulation? She isolated me, made me the outsider, then threw me a smile now and then just enough to keep me loyal. Like a dog with nowhere else to go, I took a deep breath and pulled out the resignation letter I'd prepared long ago, handing it to her. "I'm resigning, Luciana." She froze, looking genuinely confused. Bruno jumped in quickly. "Luciana, it's probably because Benjamin's worried about you. Wasn't he already jealous last time just because you took me to that trendy restaurant?" He looked at me, his eyes gleaming with something smug. His lips curled into a slow smirk, like he was claiming victory. "Benjamin, seriously, the trip with Luciana is strictly business. That restaurant last time, a client liked it, so we had to go to keep them happy." Luciana's expression turned ice cold. Her tone was sharp and irritated. "Benjamin, stop wasting my time with this nonsense. We just talked this morning. I said I'd accept your proposal when I got back from the trip. You're not a kid anymore. Can you stop acting like one of those romance novel leads playing hard to get? Instead of pulling stunts like this, how about focusing on your performance?" I just looked at her calmly. Honestly, I didn't need to hand her the resignation letter directly. She just happened to be there, so I handed it to her. Looks like I still had to go through HR after all. I was just a regular employee. No need to skip protocol just to get the boss's signature. Bruno tugged at Luciana's sleeve and said, "Luciana, I think I get it now. Didn't Benjamin ask for a raise 3 months ago? Maybe this is about that." Then he turned to me. "Benjamin, I'll talk to Luciana for you, okay? Next time for sure. Just don't threaten her with stuff like this. She's already under a lot of pressure." With just a few lines, Bruno managed to spin the whole situation around, making it look like I was throwing a tantrum about money while slipping right into Luciana's good graces again. Suddenly, I felt dazed. It hit me. I hadn't had a conversation like this with Luciana in what felt like forever. Maybe that's when it all started, when my heart gave up, and I didn't even realize it. Luciana's tightly knit brows finally relaxed. Then she snapped, "So this whole scene this morning was about a raise? Fine. When I get back, I'll give you a raise. Happy now?" The two of them were completely in sync. Like it was a performance they'd rehearsed together. With my experience, after all these years at this company, I should have been promoted long ago. Forget team lead, I could have been a project manager. Maybe even head of a department, but what did Luciana say? She said we needed to give hope to the new employees, that they needed to see growth and opportunity, that we couldn't crush their spirits. So of course I was excluded all those years, and I was still just a regular employee. Realizing that, I couldn't help but laugh. Just laughed at how utterly ridiculous I'd been, seeing that I didn't respond. Luciana handed the contract to Bruno and glanced at my resignation letter still held mid-air, her eyes full of disdain. Put that away. Don't bother me with this crap. Besides the raise, I'll promote you too. Is that enough? I'll tell HR today doesn't count as an absence. Go back to your desk and get to work. With that, she left the office with Bruno. I stood there for a moment, staring down at the resignation letter in my hand. I couldn't help but shake my head slightly. Then, without another word, I turned and walked straight to the HR department. I handed in the letter. It was approved almost immediately. Of course, it was in their eyes. I was just another senior employee, nothing special. Someone my age. Give it a couple more years, and they would have found some excuse to lay me off anyway. Once I made peace with that, I packed up my things quickly and started the journey back home. 3 days after returning to my hometown, I found a job at a local e-commerce warehouse. The pay wasn't anything to brag about, but the work was easy. For someone like me, a seasoned programmer, this kind of job was almost laughably simple. Life back home moved at a slower pace, and the workdays felt more relaxed. On weekends, I had time to take long walks or go for runs. Sometimes I'd head out fishing, setting off at 4 or 5 in the morning and spending the whole day by the water with fellow anglers. Every now and then, I'd check social media. Bruno? He posted constantly. His feed was basically spam at this point. Photo after photo of him and Luciana eating, drinking, sightseeing, playing like a couple on vacation. If you didn't know them, you'd honestly think they were newlyweds. Luciana looked genuinely happy in every photo. Her smile never faded. She posed flawlessly beside Bruno, even doing those cringy, coordinated heart-shaped poses across 9 grid photo collages. Multiple sets of them. And then there were the dance challenge videos. Yep, even those. In one post, Bruno wrote, "Too many people at these trendy spots. If it weren't for my gorgeous, sweet, and amazing boss, I wouldn't bother squeezing through crowds. Next time, let's do a road trip through the grasslands." Luciana replied, "Sure, next time I'll take you to the grasslands, horseback riding, lamb barbecue, the works." I chuckled bitterly. The kind of tiresome travel Bruno was pretending to complain about had once been my dream. All these years, Luciana and I had never taken a vacation together, not even a casual trip like a normal couple. She always said she hated traveling, said I was too frivolous, always chasing fun instead of focusing on ambition. But now, the same Luciana who hated traveling was hitting up every tourist spot with Bruno, smiling like a teenager in love. Truth was, she didn't hate travel. She just didn't want to travel with me. In the comments, I saw familiar names, colleagues joking about wedding bells ringing soon. Some others left veiled, sarcastic remarks clearly aimed at me. Where's Benjamin now? Why isn't he here to drop some passive-aggressive wisdom? Back then, only Bruno knew about my relationship with Luciana, and whenever I caught co-workers gossiping about them, I'd tell them to stop. Even when Bruno posted photos with her, I'd jump in with bitter sarcasm. So over time, I became that guy, the jealous, bitter old man, angry at the world, incapable of finding a girlfriend, so he dragged others down instead. Luciana even picked a fight with me over it once, told me to stop being sarcastic under Bruno's posts. Looking back, I was just stupid, blind. Every one of Bruno's posts was meant to provoke me, but without Luciana's permission, without her encouragement, he never would have dared be so bold, so shameless. At some point, Luciana let Bruno step into every corner of her life, and my 10 years with her had just become a badly written, pitiful drama. One that finally, mercifully, came to an end. In the days that followed, they kept posting beautiful scenery, delicious food, constant updates like they were head over heels in love, and gradually, my heart grew still. It stopped reacting. Then, one day, I pulled in an 18-pound white bass. Nearby anglers looked over, clearly impressed. It wasn't the biggest catch in the world, but it was solid. Not a wasted trip, I snapped a photo, almost on instinct. But instead of opening Luciana's chat, I posted it to my own feed. Caption: how did you guys know I just caught an 18-pound white bass? Over the past few days, I'd made a few fishing buddies. Might as well show off a little. Let them see what I could do. Who says anglers never catch anything? I slipped the bass into the net basket and got back into fishing mode. Then my phone buzzed. Probably someone from the fishing crew asking about the catch, but when I looked, it was a message. Luciana, Benja, don't forget to water my hydrangeas. And bring the succulents inside, don't let them get too much sun. I still need them for the wedding room. I froze. Checked the date. Her trip should have ended a week ago, which meant she still didn't know. She didn't know I'd moved out. Didn't know I had quit the company. After more than a month, she hadn't even noticed. I didn't reply, just pocketed the phone and kept my eyes on the water. 5 minutes later, another message came in, like she was tossing me a bone. Thanks for holding down the fort. Turns out, I have to stay a few extra days. Once I'm back, you pick a day for the marriage certificate. Love you. What a joke. Every time she said marriage, she'd tack on an I love you like some magic spell that had always worked in the past. I still didn't reply. Phone went back in the pocket. And I kept fishing. Before I knew it, more than 2 weeks had passed. That made it nearly 2 months now. I was still by the lake when another notification popped up wrecking the comm. Just landed. Come pick me up. I could practically hear her entitled tone just reading it. I rolled my eyes and actually laughed. Yeah, when people are too stunned to speak, they really do laugh. Ridiculous. Ruined my fishing mood. So I deleted her contact. Just like that. Thought it'd be the end of it. But then Bruno called me straight voice call. I declined. He called again. Declined again. Blocked. 2 seconds. Later, a new number. I blocked that too, and while I was at it, I blocked Luciana's number as well. Just when I let out a breath of relief, another notification buzzed through my spam filter. One blocked message. Out of habit, I tapped it open. Luciana. Wow, Benjamin. Acting all tough now. If you've got guts, don't ever come back. I laughed out loud. Come back? Back to what? Cleaning that dusty apartment? No one had lived there for 2 months. It was probably thick with grime. Oddly enough, my mood improved instantly. Even my fish net was full again. Another envy-inducing day among the local fishing crew. Around noon, the sun got intense, so a few of us decided to hit up a local farm-style restaurant for lunch. As I packed up my gear and walked toward the car, my phone lit up again, this time from a capital city number. I figured it was HR again. They'd contacted me a few times after I resigned. I'd always declined politely. Eventually, the company owner proposed outsourcing some tasks and asked for help with tech issues. I didn't mind side gigs, so I answered without thinking, but instead of HR, a trembling voice came through. Luciana's voice. She sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Benja, where are you? Why did you leave? Didn't you say you'd stay with me forever? I was speechless for a second, totally let my guard down. The boss from the capital sometimes used new numbers to contact me, so I hadn't thought twice before answering. Benja, you quit your job. You even moved all your stuff out of the house. Where are you now? Her voice was rushed. Was she actually anxious? Unbelievable. Looking back, I'd handed off all my work properly, tied up every loose end. Over the past 2 months, not a single person from the company had needed anything from me. So no, this wasn't about work. She was panicking because I left. The moment that thought crossed my mind, I dismissed it. Impossible. Ben, what are you drinking? Old Zoo and the guys were going for some baijiu that afternoon. After that, let's try our luck at the pay-to-fish pond. Herbal tea, I replied casually to my fishing buddy. Luciana's voice came through the phone again. A pay pond? You're fishing? I said simply. Where? That reservoir. Or another one. Yeah, that one. I answered vaguely. Luciana's tone softened instantly. Then I'll come pick you up. Let's talk properly. T-ask. The fish in my bucket were still flopping around, full of energy. I was trying to grab a white bass to hand off for cleaning, but they were especially feisty today. And with one hand on the phone, the whole thing was starting to wear on my nerves. There was silence on the other end of the line. Then suddenly, Luciana burst out, her voice a strange mix of anger and hurt. Benjamin, what the hell are you so annoyed about? I'm actually trying to care about you, and this is how you act? I told you clearly before I left I'd marry you when I got back. Then you disappeared. I didn't even get to ask you what happened, and now you're the one giving me attitude? With this kind of attitude, just forget the proposal. I'm not marrying you. I was done. She had to be out of her mind, right? I'd already cleared out the apartment, cleaned it up before I left. She should have been thrilled. I moved out, quit the job, and went back to my hometown. Now she could be with Bruno openly and proudly. I was still struggling with the fish, wrestling a slippery white bass out of the tank with one hand, holding the phone with the other while she was going off on a full-blown rant in my ear. Then, suddenly, I heard a loud crash through the phone, metal clanging, glass breaking. It made my ear sting. Chee. Yeah, I hear you. I'm busy. Hanging up now. I was out of patience. Whatever storm Luciana was throwing, I didn't care anymore. I ended the call mid-scream. I could still hear her shouting in disbelief as I cut the line. Benjamin, what did you say? Say that again. Ben, click. Silence. Peace at last. I finished lunch with the guys, then we headed over to a different pond for the afternoon session. By the time I got home, it was 9:30 at night. I ordered fried chicken, grilled skewers, and a couple of beers for delivery. Sorted out the day's catch, planning to bring some over to my parents the next day. Then my phone rang. I figured it was the delivery guy. Damn, that was fast. But the second I answered, I was hit by Bruno's obnoxious voice, practically yelling into the mic like a lunatic. Benjamin, are you even human? What kind of boyfriend are you? You made Lulu cry. Do you even realize that? She went looking for you everywhere. You lied to her about fishing, and she went to every spot you usually go. She almost fell into the pond. If I hadn't been there, she could have been in real danger. Oh, we're calling her Lulu now? No more full names, huh? 2 months of travel and the feelings really blossomed, didn't they? Give it another month, and I'll probably be getting a wedding invite in the mail. Honestly, I couldn't even be mad. I just found it hilarious and I laughed. Genuinely laughed. Luciana went looking for me. She fell into the water trying to find me. I understood every word Bruno said, but strung together, it made absolutely no sense. I laughed and asked, full of sarcasm. She went looking for me? Come on, Bruno. Don't make things up. I'd lost count of how many times Luciana had stood me up. It was like the boy who cried wolf again and again. She suddenly snatched the phone and snapped, Benjamin, I looked everywhere for you, and now you're accusing me? I let out another impatient "T-esque. There you go again with that sound. Just how sick of me are you? I took a deep breath, then asked calmly, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Our 10-year anniversary, you said we'd watch the sunrise by the sea. But you went to a hot spring with Bruno instead. When I called, you said maybe next time. Valentine's Day, you promised dinner. I waited until the restaurant closed, and you were still watching a movie with Bruno. The holiday weekend, you said we'd visit the old town together, but you went to help Bruno move. My birthday, you said you'd cook longevity noodles for me, but Bruno had a fever, and you spent the whole night taking care of him at the hospital. I paused. Luciana, you're really telling me you came looking for me? Come on, don't feed me the same old lies. It's getting stale. Even if you told me you were hospitalized, I wouldn't believe it. Why would you need me when you have Bruno? I said it all very calmly. In the past, thinking of those things would have made my eyes sting. My nose would burn. But now? Nothing. It felt like I was reading a scene from some overdone drama. Emotionless, there was a long silence. Then Luciana let out a cold laugh. So this is what it's about. You're throwing all this old crap at me now? Doing some emotional push and pull like in those cringy romance novels? Trying to get my attention? Well, congrats. It worked. But let's be real, this is just because you're jealous Bruno came with me on the business trip, isn't it? He's my assistant. It's literally his job to come with me. How many times have I explained this to you? But you never believe me. You'd rather live in your delusions, making wild accusations. Do you even understand human language? I pinched the bridge of my nose, fed up. Who doesn't understand human language here? I thought adults didn't need things spelled out. I moved out. I quit my job. Isn't that clear enough? I paused. So let's make it official. Luciana, we're done. Please stop bothering me. A proper ex should act like they're dead. With that, I hung up. Then blocked her number. The next day, as soon as I walked into the company, Lisa from HR quickly came over. A few coworkers nearby glanced at me, some with confusion, others with sympathy. Lisa, who was also the daughter of the boss, looked like she wanted to say something but hesitated. After a short pause, she finally spoke. Benja, are you in the middle of some arbitration with your previous employer? I blinked. Arbitration? That's ridiculous. Lisa sighed, glanced back toward the office, and explained. Benja, your previous company. Sigh. You didn't pass your probation period. The reason given, you're not suitable for the position. I turned to look into the office. Through the glass window, I saw a familiar figure, Luciana. A wave of heat and anger surged in my chest. I was just about to complete my probation, and now she'd sabotaged it. Got it, I said flatly. I'll pack my things. I returned to my desk and started packing. Behind me, Lisa and a few coworkers watched, regret in their eyes. Such a shame. Benja's been amazing. Yeah, with him around, there's no bug we couldn't fix. He even helped me build my computer from scratch. Halfway through, Luciana and Bruno strolled out of the office like they were on a casual date. Boss Wang walked over, face serious, but eyes full of apology. Benja, I'm sure HR has informed you. You're being let go. Apparently, you're not a good fit for the position. Your probation salary will be paid out in full. Luciana, dressed in sharp office attire, gave a satisfied nod and a faint smile. President Wang, you did the right thing listening to me. Benjamin lacks the skill. Keeping him here would only hold back your company's growth. Bruno chimed in like a well-trained parrot. Exactly, President Wang. Partnering with us was definitely a wise decision. My face went cold. Rage burned in my chest. I turned to Luciana and asked bluntly, Luciana, what the hell is this supposed to mean? She looked smug, raised a brow and grinned. Benjamin, you thought you could just quit and sneak off to work here? You think I wouldn't find you? My request is simple, come home with me. Stop this nonsense. Otherwise, I'll blacklist you in the industry. You won't be able to get a job anywhere. The look on her face screamed entitlement, like she already owned the outcome. That only stirred my defiance. And suddenly, something clicked. Blacklist me? It reminded me of that job offer I'd gotten recently, and how the company had suddenly gone cold without explanation. Wouldn't surprise me if they were just doing Luciana a favor. I let out a cold laugh and said slowly, Luciana, we broke up over 2 months ago. Don't you ever get tired? Then I turned to Bruno. And you, Bruno, 2 whole months of business trips with Luciana, and she still hasn't made it official with you. It's been over a year now. I even gave up my spot for you, and you still haven't moved up? Maybe the problem is that you just don't have what it takes. Luciana instantly lost it. She raised her hand to slap me. I stepped back, dodging it with ease. Then I picked up my bag, turned around, and walked away. Couldn't be bothered to waste another word on her. The people around us stood wide-eyed, staring. A moment later, they were whispering, pointing at Luciana and Bruno. In just 2 months at this company, I'd built great relationships with my coworkers. And after hearing what I said, they were all murmuring to each other, damn, so that's the ex he was with for 10 years? Whoa, she cheated? No wonder he never explained much, just said it was an amicable breakup. T-esque. I knew it. Poor Benja. Totally got played. After leaving the company, I loaded up my things on my little electric scooter and was just about to start it up when my phone rang again. I was ready to hit decline without even checking. But then I saw the caller. It Diana Moo from Volcano Electronics and Information. I quickly picked up. After a short conversation, Chairwoman Moo asked me, Benjamin, I really believe in your potential. Are you sure you're not coming to work for us? I let out a bitter laugh. Chairwoman Moo, it's not even about what I want anymore. Looks like I'm getting blacklisted in the industry. Blacklisted? By who? Your ex-boss, Luciana? Yeah, Diana sounded genuinely confused. She'd done a deep background check on me already. If I had made any major professional mistake worthy of blacklisting, she would have known. I don't really know, I admitted. She just showed up at my current company today, and I got fired. Guess she just doesn't like me. Diana went quiet for a second, then asked gently, I wasn't planning to ask anything personal, but now I have to. Did this happen because you broke up with Luciana? I blinked, surprised. How did she know? Don't worry, she added casually. I work in internet tech. Big data sees everything. Our company is way stronger than Luciana's anyway. She doesn't have any sway here. So are you coming or not? Turns out I had gambled right. Diana sent over the offer on the spot. I rushed home, packed my things, and booked the earliest flight back to the capital. By that afternoon, I was at Diana's company, paperwork signed, onboarding done. I joined directly as a senior engineer, and once the current project wrapped up smoothly, I'd be promoted to expert engineer, and as luck would have it, this project was the same side gig I'd already been freelancing on. The next morning, I joined the team for our first group session. Before I even walked in, Diana had already introduced me to the rest of the group. After the morning meeting, my teammates swarmed around me with cheerful greetings. No way! The legend himself! Chairwoman Moo finally poached you, huh? Bro, I go by Falcon Online. We've finally met in person. The team was incredibly friendly. The vibe here completely caught me off guard, thinking back to everything I went through before, and now looking at this, damn, I'd been living like crap. That afternoon, Diana called me into her office. Luciana had shown up. The moment I stepped inside, I could feel the tension. It was thick, like a standoff. I was confused. Sure, it wasn't strange for the two of them to know each other, but to go full no-filter confrontation just because Diana hired me? That felt extreme. Diana looked up at me, then turned to Luciana, her voice sharp with biting sarcasm. Took me ages to recruit him. Luciana, you showing up now to poach him? Forget it. I'm not wasting my breath arguing, but if you trash my office, I'll send you the bill. She stood up and left the room to just the two of us. As she passed by, she leaned in slightly and whispered, Benjamin, let me tell you something. Luciana and our grudge goes way back, all the way to childhood. As for you, I genuinely believe in your abilities. I gave a small nod, letting her know I understood. Inside, it was just Luciana and me now. She bit her lip, clearly annoyed. Benjamin, what exactly do you want? Can you stop making a scene already? When did you and Diana get this close? My face stayed cold. I scoffed, people aim higher. I wanted a better job and a better salary, so I switched companies. Isn't that obvious? Besides, didn't I clear the way for you and Bruno? That was the whole point, right? Luciana clenched her fists, visibly frustrated. Then she sighed, her voice softening like she was trying to negotiate. Fine, I get it. I know what you want. I'll reduce contact with Bruno. No, with assistant Wu. I'll even move him to another department. Just stop making a fuss and come home with me. I stepped closer, pulled out my phone, tapped a few times, and turned the screen toward her. It showed Bruno's social media feed, a whole highlight reel of sweet little memories. You really ready to let all this go? Luciana glanced at the screen. Her face went pale instantly. Her eyes darted away guilty. I scrolled. Look, can't even reach the bottom of the feed. She muttered under her breath, I told Bruno to block you from seeing those. Then she quickly tried to explain in a softer tone. I know, you've been wronged lately. How about this? Come home with me, and I'll make everything right. I'll announce our relationship publicly at the company. Promotion, raise. I'll give it all to you. How does vice president sound? I raised an eyebrow, giving her a long, deliberate look. Here every coworker sees my skills. Every superior sees my value. Luciana, do you even know how long Chairwoman Moo's been trying to recruit me? 8 months. Even after I rejected her multiple times, she still offered me freelance gigs. I asked her once, was it really worth it? She said, you have the ability, so you're worth it. You gave me empty promises for 10 years, and I got nothing. But Chairwoman Moo gave me real benefits in just 8 months. If Bruno had even half my ability, you wouldn't be here right now. Luciana blurted out without hesitation. No, I would still be here. We've been together 10 years. I love you. Look, I'll fire Bruno right now. I swear I'll cut all ties with him. Let's go register our marriage today. I even have our IDs and household book with me. She clutched my arm tightly, words spilling out like a flood, but all I felt was disgust. I pried her hand off and said, slowly and clearly, is it love? Or is it just habit? Do you even know the difference? You're just missing someone to do things for you, someone to take care of you, a butler, a caretaker, not a partner. Bruno's nothing. There'll be plenty of other guys for you to mess around with. Cheating doesn't just happen once, it happens endlessly. Luciana, you never loved me. Her face went ghostly pale. Her lips trembled, but she couldn't get a full sentence out. Benjamin, it's not like that. Please believe me. Nothing happened between me and him. I stepped back and shook my head. You still think whether you slept together matters? The only thing that matters is this: we broke up. We have no relationship anymore, and if you really need to call, it's something. I looked her in the eye. Then we're rivals now. And Luciana, I genuinely hope you get the chance to go head-to-head with us someday. Tears rolled silently down Luciana's cheeks as she stared at me in disbelief. Without another word, I turned and walked out of the office. Left her there to cry alone. In the break room, Diana was smoking by the window. She offered me a cigarette and asked, "Watching her cry like that pretty satisfying, huh?" But all that aside, Benjamin, I want you to stay focused. Don't let personal matters get in the way of your work performance. Chairwoman Moo, I replied with a small smile. Do I look like a man who hasn't moved on? If there's no love, there are no emotional traps. If there are no feelings, there's no leverage. So what do you say, will this nobody be a CEO a year from now? Absolutely. Sunlight streamed through the break room windows, casting a warm, golden glow across the space. Bright, gentle, not blinding. From now on, every day of my life would be just like this, bright and full of light.